Thanks very much for that. Now, let's look at the report that your committee has published today on the need for us to take photo ID to vote in elections. Is it that hard to get some photo ID to take? Research commissioned by the government found 96% of respondents had suitable photo ID with a picture.
Well, first of all, the government's reports and their trials, because they've trialled this out, shows around 3% of people would turn up to the polling station and be sent away. Now, they might have the ID down the back of a sofa, but in almost all cases, none of those people return. I mean, if you made your way down to the polling station on a dark night, you're not suddenly going to whip back down later on. That is, to give you the figures, that's 2,000 people per seat that are likely to be turned away from this. We've got 70 seats in Parliament where that is the majority. So it could make a difference to an outcome of a general election. It would make a difference to the last outcome of the general election, and for sure it would have made a difference on the 2017 general election. It could have made a difference even who was in government. Now, that is, I think, quite shocking that this one change could make such a big difference, and I think that's why we've got to be very careful. But the other problem is, and I don't particularly support ID at all, but you've got this farcical thing that you might turn up and the person at the polling station might know who you are because they're your neighbours, they live in the same town or village as you, but they won't be able to accept you in unless you've got the right kind of ID. And the right kind of ID will be, of course, a passport, a driving licence, a Ministry of Defence card, or an old person's travel card. If you were a young person and turned up with your young person's rail card, which has a photo ID on it, all of them do, they wouldn't be able to accept that. If you turned up with your college card or your work card, for example, many people have ID for the workplace. You wouldn't be able to use that either. And so there's also a problem with them drawing the line so narrowly. All that needs to be proved is there is a high likelihood that that person is who they say they are.